Welcome to Job Club. Today we will be talking about resumes, cover letters, and online job applications. So let's go ahead and get started. So first we will talk about applying for jobs. So a job application, let's talk about what a job application is and what it's used for. A job application is a tool that allows employers to learn about a candidate's professional experience, skills, and education. It is a form to fill out as part of the hiring process. Job seekers can apply for jobs in person, online, or by email. So this is where you really want to make sure you're matching your skills and qualifications to what the employer is looking for. There are also online job applications. Some companies don't have online systems, and if this is the case, you can send your resume and cover letter to their email address. If you know what jobs you're interested in, you can go directly to the company website and apply for that position online. Job search engines show you a list of jobs from job boards, associations, newspapers, and employers' websites. So if you're applying online, you may have to request information for how to apply from the company's website. And job search engines can help save you time and help you find more opportunities. That's kind of the point of them and what they're there for. They compile many jobs into one site instead of you having to search for many different jobs independently. So it's a big time saver and it makes it a lot easier to search for jobs. And most people today, I would say, apply for jobs online. That is most common. So let's talk about the benefits of screening candidates online. 50% of mid-sized and large companies use systems on the internet to screen candidates for job openings. HR departments simplify the process of storing and organizing information online, makes it easier, a little bit more efficient, much more efficient. And this also saves money and is more eco-friendly since it reduces paper use from printing and collecting paperwork. So just some general tips. So you want to save the information you need to fill out a job application on your computer or email account. This will save time when filling out applications. So have your email, your address, all of that stuff ready so you can just enter that back into a job application so you don't have to, maybe look back a couple times to fill that information out. Be considerate of what you choose to post on your public social media profile for others to see. This is something that will sometimes be something that employers will check for is they might check your social media profile. And then so you want to be aware of that and aware of what you're posting for that reason. Review your application to check for spelling errors before submitting it. Always make sure you proofread your application to make sure that all the information is accurate and that there are no errors in what you've entered in. And then read. You want to make sure, and this is a very important one, I would say, you want to make sure that you read the job description and match your skills to the position you are applying for. It's very important to read the job description so that that way you know what the employer is looking for and you know what would be important to put on your resume in terms of your skills and qualifications. And in terms of filling out the job application, you'll know what this employer is looking for. So a couple other tips for when filling out job applications. You want to complete all requested information for online job applications. Be thorough. Employers usually filter through candidates based on their responses. So make sure you're very thoughtful about your responses when filling out a job application. It could set you apart from others when it's being reviewed. Update. Regularly keep your resume updated. Employers will notice if a candidate's resume has not been updated. So just make sure that as you get jobs and as you complete different trainings or certificates that you're adding those to your resume so it's up to date and employers can see that you've been keeping up with your resume. And then search. Know how to best search for jobs. Search by keyword, company, location, and salary. These are just ways to kind of help you narrow down your search so it's easier to find something that suits you for a job. What is a keyword? So let's talk about keywords. A keyword is a relevant term to the job that you are searching for. This will make your search more effective and specific to what you are looking for in a job. You want to create a list of keywords according to your interests. So job titles, certifications, professions, industries that you are interested in, job-specific skills, technical skills, specific software, location, language proficiency, etc. Keywords can help you narrow down your job search and make it more likely that you will find a position that you are interested in. So just something to think about when you're searching for jobs. So how to get started. When you are using a job search engine, you'll need to have an email and an address and access to the internet. Gather all the requested information you need to apply for a job, along with your resume and cover letter. Have those ready to attach to the application. Use an advanced search and type in your chosen keywords. This is a way to filter the job listings. So you can see here, there are a couple different ways that you could filter it, with an exact phrase, with a certain word, with a certain word in the title of the job, from a certain company, even within a certain amount of, miles from your home, certain location, how, long ago the job was posted. There are a bunch of different ways that you can filter your job search. So definitely want to be thinking about that. So when using job search engines, you want to maybe select 2 or 3 of them to use. You will need to create an account for each job search engine by registering your email address and setting up a username and password. You'll attach your resume to the job application and then review the application and type the information required for each field. If possible, request emails about new job postings, as this will keep you updated on when new jobs are posted that you may be interested in. So here's a list of some popular employment sites. We have Indeed, which is really a #1 site that a lot of people use. We have Glassdoor, Career Builder, Simply Hired, Career Foods, which is for food industry jobs. Job Diagnosis, which is for administrative and IT type jobs. LinkedIn, which is related to professional, executive type jobs. ZipRecruiter, which really has a little bit of everything. USA Jobs, and Dice. Now let's move on. Section. Okay, so let's talk about resume and cover letter writing, how to get started. So what is the main purpose of a resume? Well, it's to get you an interview. That is what you're trying to achieve with your resume. What are employers looking for on a resume? Employers are looking for a resume that's easy to read and 1 page long, a resume that matches up with the position they're looking to fill, and they're looking for skills and experience that are relevant to their company. So your resume should highlight the experience and skills that could be transferred to a new job. Again, this is why it's so important to read the job description, because it will really show you what this employer is looking for and how you can kind of cater to this job and really showcase yourself in the best way possible. So short resumes versus long resumes. A short resume is a summary of your education, your work history, and relevant skills. In the US, resumes are always 1 page long. This is the most common. So a short resume is really what you're going to want to try to achieve. Now, a long resume is a summary of experience, skills, education, awards, teaching experience, public engagement, and publications. Long resumes go into more detail about your knowledge and experience. Now, a long resume is still kept concise and to the point, and it usually includes academic credentials. Employers, it's important to keep in mind that employers don't like to take time to read through long resumes, so you want to keep it as short and concise as possible. You don't want to add too much extra information. You want to keep it short and to the point. Now, a long resume really is for a situation where you have years and years of experience, years of education, publications, a lot of different things that are very important to have on your resume that you couldn't possibly fit into one page. But again, you really want to keep it as short as possible, because there are situations where an employer, they see a really long resume and they don't want to take the time to read it. So you want to really keep it as short and concise as possible. And again, once you get the interview, you can expand on different parts of the resume and go into more detail. It's a great time to be able to do that, but keeping it short is really what we're going for here. Now, there's different sections to a resume. So the sections that are required are contact information, which comes first, education, and work experience. Some other sections that are recommended, if you have the room for them, are professional experience, skills, volunteer experience, honors, and awards. Those could be some good things to add. So here's a sample resume, an example of what a resume might look like. So you have your name at the top, make that larger, make it stand out. Have your contact information below that. It's usually how people will do it. Then comes your work experience. You'll put the company name, the dates of employment, the job title, description, and responsibilities. See how it's laid out, so simple and easy to read. It's common that people will use bullet points to make the information easier to read. Next will come education, so your school name, the school, city, and state, and dates of attendance. Then could come achievements and awards and skills after work experience and education. So again, notice how simple the resume is, how it's so easy to read. It's laid out very, very organized, and there's no bright colors or anything that's distracting. It would be a quick read, and it really gives a lot of information as well. So the employer can really learn a lot about you without having to read that much. Let's go into a little bit more detail here. So step one is contact information. So these are examples of how the contact information could be listed on a resume. It must include your full name, your address. Now on these, the address is the full address, but even just a city and state is completely fine for that. Your phone number and your email address. Again, notice how the first and last name are bold and larger than the other font. You want your name to stand out, so I think that is important to remember. Then sometimes, again, if there's room, sometimes people will add what's called a profile objective. So this is a short paragraph about your knowledge and skills that make you the best candidate for the position. The objectives are related to your career plans and your goals for employment. You want to showcase professional and confident language. So again, this is not necessarily included in every resume, but if you have the room, a profile objective can be a good thing to add to make your resume stand out. Again, you do want to keep it concise and short. It's really just to define what your goal is and what you are looking for in a new position. Step 3, professional experience. So list your previous job, starting with the current or most recent position held. This includes the position, the company, the city and country, or city and state, starting and ending date, accomplishments and responsibilities or duties of each job. If possible, accomplishments should be quantifiable. So put it in a number if possible. For example, if you worked as a supervisor, how many workers did you supervise? If you wrote, reports over each month, how many were you responsible for? Emphasize and get more specific with accomplishments and experience from recent jobs, because they're going to be more relevant. And then you have professional experience, a little bit more information on professional experience, I should say. So you want to start with the position title and just kind of going over what we already said, the location, the start and end date, and 3 to 5 statements of responsibilities and achievements. I would really try to keep your responsibilities or duties from that job to 3 to 5 statements, because you do not want to get too long or too detailed there, because then it could make your resume more than 1 page. Some grammar tips: do not use I or my. So I analyze my company's financial records could be changed to analyze company financial records. And you want to also write in sentence fragments. So analyze the company's financial records could be changed to analyze financial records. You want to keep it short and very simple. Information on professional experience. You want to show your major accomplishments and responsibilities by creating 2 to 3 bullet points that answer the following questions. So again, this could be 3 to 5, but what did you do? How did you do it? And why did it matter? These are the things that you want to think about when you're making those bullet points for each, work experience. So some strategies: you can make a list of your previous jobs to help you think of answers to these questions, and you could write down your previous responsibilities and achievements of each job. So when you're listing the duties and responsibilities of each job, it's common practice that you would start each bullet with an action verb. So here is a list of action verbs that that you may use. So, some examples would be developed new strategies, identified helpful resources, obtained important information. So those all started with an action verb: developed, identified, obtained. These are a really great way to showcase what you were able to accomplish at your previous jobs. And using action verbs really is how most people will list. We'll start out by listing these responsibilities. All right, so this is just an example of professional experience and how somebody might list it. So for example, we have the job title, which was research assistant, where this job was located, which was Emory University School of Medicine, the location, city and state, or country if it was a different country, the dates that this person worked there, and then a couple bullet points listing what their duties and responsibilities were. So notice they started with action verbs for each one: recruited, interviewed, assisted. Those are all really great ways to list these bullet points. And notice here they quantified one of them. So they didn't just say recruited Spanish speaking participants, they said how many: recruited 25 plus Spanish speaking participants. So again, I think that's a really good thing to remember. Again, here tracked 400 plus referrals. They quantified how many referrals. So these are just some tips for how to list your work experience. All right, so professional profile. A little bit more information here. This should highlight your experience and skills, and if you have room for this, you should really use short sentences. So this could be, in the form of summarizing your professional experience, or your qualifications and skills. So when you have an extended amount of experience in a particular field, this is a good thing to do. It's a great way to show that you have extra experience that goes beyond just listing a couple bullet points under each job. And this is a good way to kind of quickly summarize that experience and showcase your skills and your qualifications. Okay, so step 4 is education. So you want to list your most recent and highest level of degree first. So for the degree titles, you want to spell it out instead of abbreviating it. So instead of BA, you want to spell out Bachelor of Arts. Or instead of BS, you could be Bachelor of Science. You want to spell out the name of the school, the location, and then the graduated year or the expected graduation year. 5 is going to be listing skills. So you want to list skills that are relevant to the job. There are hard skills and then there are soft skills. So hard skills are technical skills. They are listed first. So computer skills, foreign language knowledge, data analysis, things like that would be hard technical skills. Next would come soft skills, which again, you're wanting to match up with the job description. So they are matching up with what is requested in the job description. So those are listed second. So things like highly organized, problem solver, team worker, strong adaptability, things like that. So again, hard skills, technical skills come first, soft skills, they are listed second. So I want to go over some important tips for resume format. So here are a couple font suggestions that a lot of people will use, something simple. So Times New Roman, Arial, or Calibri. Font size should be 10 to 12 point font. That is because you want to, keep everything on one page. So the smaller the font, the more likely that you'll be able to keep it on the page, one page. Font color should be black. Nothing that's too bright or stands out. Black is standard. The margin size should be 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Use bullet points to organize information and make it easy to read. That is an important one. And then be consistent with formatting. So make the resume look the same throughout each section. That will make it easier to read and it will look like it flows better. So here's another example of a resume template. You can see that this is where the name would be. It's bolded and enlarged. Contact information is below. Then you start with experience, most recent job to the least recent. They have the company name, the location, the position, and then job duties and responsibilities, using action verbs to start out each bullet point, and then the dates that they were at this particular job. For education, they have the university, they spelled out the degree, and then they put the date that they graduated, and some extra awards there as well. Then we have skills, and you can see the hard skills or the technical skills are listed first. And this is really a well-rounded resume. So let's talk about what should not be included on a resume. So a photograph of yourself, don't need to include that. Your birthday or age, your country of origin, religion, marital status, citizenship or visa status, funny or unprofessional email address, salary history, the reasons that you left former jobs, and references available upon request. Now, these are all things that you should not include. I included references available upon request because I would say to either provide the references or wait until you are asked for them. You don't really need to say that they're available upon request because that is assumed. So these are all things that you should not include. Some other resume tips. You want to emphasize your most recent jobs. You want to make your resume tailored. So focus on how your experience and skills match the job description. Very important. Make your resume a combination of functional and chronological. And here you can get free templates online for resumes. So a couple options are bestsampleresumes.com, job search resumes, or Indeed also has templates as well, which is a job search engine that we spoke about previously. So even if you just Googled, free resume templates, there are plenty online where you can find some options there. So let's talk about cover letters, because this is another important part of this job application process. So a cover letter explains why your experience and skills are relevant to the job. So it goes beyond a resume and explains in more detail, why the experience that you have would be a good fit for this job that you are applying for. So you would write a cover letter to introduce yourself, communicate your interest for the position, and request to be considered for the position. It's kind of like a formality. It must be tailored to each job and employer. So you can't, have the exact same cover letter for every job, because it's going to be addressed to each specific company. And you want to tailor it to each specific job based on the job description. So a cover letter is meant to accompany your resume and further explain why you would be a good fit for the job. Cover letters are not required to apply for every job, but they are sometimes requested. It never hurts to include a cover letter. It really can only help you. They are meant to strengthen and add to your resume. So not necessarily repeat information, but to add to what you've already put in your resume. So here's an example of a cover letter. So you would put your name enlarged at the top, so you could see before this came down, that said John Smith. You'd put your current job title. Then you would address it to the company that you are applying to the job for. You'd title it cover letter, put the date, and then introduce it as something like Dear Recruiter, something general like that. Then in the first paragraph right here, you want to state the reason for the letter, what position you are applying for, and how you learned about the job. So that's kind of what you would put there. In paragraph 2, you would indicate why you are interested in the position or the company, explain why you would be a good addition, and what makes you qualified. Match your skills, explain why you believe you are qualified for this job. Then paragraph 3 would be a time when you could request a personal interview, thank the employer for taking the time to consider you for the position, and just kind of wrap up what you've already said. So this is an example of a cover letter. Now, that is all that I have for today. I hope that you learned a little bit more about resumes and cover letters so that you feel more prepared when you are preparing your own resumes and cover letters and job applications. Thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you next time.